comfortable squat position. Right? So we're not really worried about strict squat right now. All right, what we're going to work is a nice strong hinge. And you're just going to drive your hips back. And I want you to load up those hamstrings. From the side profile, we're more in this position, driving those hips back. Hamstrings should have some tension. I want you to reach your fist towards the ground. And I want you to follow your left fist as you take it to the sky. Follow with your chest until you feel like you have to start using your head. And then bring it back down. And give me a couple reps, alternating sides, working that strong rotation. Breathe as you reach. Back down, strong through the belly. You're working through your pace. You're not really worried about how fast I'm moving or slow as I'm moving. You're just following that fist to the sky to the best of your ability. You're going to feel those hamstrings get a little challenged. You're going to feel that lumbar, that low back. Hopefully feel that belly turn on a little bit as well. All right, once you get back to center, let's go and stand on up. Keeping that comfortable squat stance and change my angle up just a hair. I want you to drive those hands out for me. Pull those hips on down. Grabbing onto those toes, I want you to lift those hips up. Breathe. Pull those hips back down. Drive those hands back out. Stand tall. Brace the belly. Pull down. Toes, hips up. Breathe. Pulling back down. Hands out. Stand tall. Let's go one more rep. Pull those hips on down. Toes, hips. Breathe. Pulling those hips back down, hands out, stand tall. All right, so today is all about rotation. We got a little anti-rotation. We have some dynamic movement going on. We just threw in some movements that are really going to be incorporated throughout class. Much like yesterday, we're going to have long work periods, short rest periods, because this is a short class. So don't get frustrated on the transitions so they are quick. We'll learn the movements as we go through this first round. Second, third rounds, we're really going to push ourselves today. All right. Let me get my little cheat timer going. I'd love to say I could count perfectly in my head, but not about that. All right, find that comfortable squat position again. I want you to reach those fists towards the ground, pull down that squat position, and follow that left fist to the sky. Pulling back down, stand tall. Back down, follow that right fist to the sky. Back up, and now your pace. Finding that rotation, pressing that opposite arm into that leg that you're turning away from to make sure that knee doesn't follow you. So a little bit different angle here. Working that strong rotation. All right, if you find that you want to work more of an open hand, you can. Just make sure you have some intent. So really reach those fingertips to the sky if you're not going with that fist. Few more reps here. Rest. And relax. All right. We're going to hit that plank position. However you want to get down there, you go inchworm, or you can just drop the knees. We're going to work some plank shoulder taps. If you've done these before, you may have gone quick in your transitions. Today is about being slow. Find your plank. Right hand, left shoulder, hold. Bring it down. Left hand, right shoulder, hold. And now I want you working side to side. Long enough to work a strong exhale. And what I'm hoping you're feeling is those hips as you transition from side to side, really having to fight that rotation. We're still strong from top of the head. And now if you're starting to think, Chris, this has gotten easier somehow, make sure those hands have stayed about the width of your shoulders, if not even outside. Okay? Don't try to find your center. Your body knows how to cheat. Try to keep those hands wide. Keep those feet as narrow as you can. Rest. And relax. Let's drop the knees. We're just going to swing the feet out in front. We're going to come over to a seated position. All right, once you're going to take those hands behind you, if you can, fingers are turned away from the body. If you need to turn the hands out a little bit, you can. I want you to take those heels into the ground, and all we're going to do is drive those hips up. Okay, not that bad. Okay, this time I want you to drive up. And then take that right hand and reach over that left shoulder and back down. Hips come up, take that left hand, reach over that right shoulder, back down. And now breathe. If that overhead reach is a little much for you, okay, go back to just that hip extension. Go back to that supine bridge. Okay? But if you can throw in that overhead reach with that rotation, so you're reaching towards that opposite shoulder, really try to work that reach, work that exhale, work that hip drive. Excellent. All right, drop those hips. Let's just swing those feet on back behind us. We're going to come over to a plank position. We're going to work a sit back with a step with an arm sweep, and we're only going to stay on one side. If none of that makes sense, follow me. Plank position. Sit those hips back. As you come forward, left foot comes forward. Reach that left hand out in front of you. Sweep it to the sky. Reach towards that back foot. Reach back out in front of the body. Hand comes down. Left foot comes back. Sit back. And left foot comes back up. Reach out in front of the body. Reaching back. Take your time. Getting that strong reach out in front of the body. Strong reach as we go back towards that back foot. We're exhaling. We're finding those tension points. Okay, you can slow this down if you want a little bit more of the benefits from mobility, from that stretch. If you want to go a little faster, go a little more dynamic and relax, you can. You probably guess what's next. We're working that right side. I'm going to pivot around just so you guys see my work side. Let's go and hit up that plank position for me, please. Strong in that upper back. Pull those shoulders down. Let's sit those hips back. Right foot comes up. Right hand reaches, pulls back towards that back foot. Back out in front. Hand comes back down. Strong sit back. Right foot comes up. If you happen to be alternating on that last round, continue to alternate. Or of course, if you just work your right side, don't work your right side again. Really strong in those hands. We go back to that sit back. We've done this quite a few times in the past weeks. We're going to continue to play with that movement. Love the sit back. Last rep here. And relax. Coming on back to that standing position. All right, so we know our movements. We can pick up the tempo. You can pick up the intensity a little bit as we work through these rounds. So let's get back to that first minute. Find that squat position. I want you to reach those hands towards the ground. Pull down. Left hand goes to sky. Chest follows. Back down. Stand up. Back down. Right hand goes to sky. Follow. Back down. And now do me a favor as you work through this, as you work from side to side. One, make sure that that opposite arm is pressing against the knee, the leg that you're turning away from, to make sure it doesn't follow you. Second, make sure the weight stays in the heels. And you're not transitioning that work or that load onto the toes or onto the balls of the feet. You're trying to stay in the heels on this one. And exhale wherever you need it. Last one for me. And once you get done with that rep, go and relax. All right, so we're getting back up to those plank shoulder taps. All right, so again, we're going to try to keep those hands shoulder width, nothing closer. Try to keep them wide. Let's go and hit up that plank position. Stay with me on the first rep. Right hand, left shoulder, hold. Bring it down. Left hand, right shoulder, hold. And now work your pace. Working that strong exhale as you work each side. And now we're really thinking about keeping those hip bones pointed towards the ground. We're not letting the hips shift. We're trying to fight that rotation through the body. If you missed the beginning of class, we talk about today's theme is all rotation. You got some anti-rotation going on right now. We have more dynamic in our other movements. Again, if you're thinking, Chris, it's a little too easy, get those feet a little closer together. Last few reps. And relax. Staying on the ground, we're going to go to that supine hip extension with that overhead reach. So if you missed that first round, this is what it looks like. Hands are behind. You're going to work that hip extension, and then we're going to work in a nice overhead reach, taking opposite hand over opposite shoulder. So when that left hand reaches, it's going towards that right shoulder. We've got nice strong reach. We'll try to get a little different view just so y'all can see there is some rotation in this one. We are pressing through the heels. We are shifting the knees forward as we try to target the glutes in this. Working those strong, strong exhales. Rest. And relax. All right, staying on the ground. You can swing those legs on back behind you. So we're going to go back to that sit back to step to that sweep, that arm sweep. All right, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're with me. Plank position. Sit those hips back. As you come back to plank, left foot comes up, reach that left hand forward, take it to the sky, reach to that back foot, bring it back out in front, plant that hand, sit on back, same side, left side. Long through the arm. You can make a fist or you can make a blade with those hands. I don't care which one you want to go with, wherever you decide you want to take that tension today, but I want intention through those hands, through those arms. Rest. Excellent. Finish up that strong rep. Don't cheat yourself halfway. Once you're done, relax. Go to that right side. You can stay where you're at. I'm going to pivot around just so you can see my work side. Big breath. Plank position. Hips sit back. Drive forward. Right foot comes up. Right hand reaches. And it reaches back to that back foot. Breathe as you work through this. Again, if your goal today is a little bit more mobility, you want to get more of that stretch action going on, slow it down. Find the positions that are most uncomfortable and try to breathe through them. If you want to go a little bit more aggressive, you want to go faster on those reps, get that heart rate up, you certainly can, but make sure you're keeping that tension. Finish up that strong rep you're in right now. Once you finish up that one, relax. All right, so we are 2 of our 3 rounds down. We're going to get back to that same position. Actually, we're only staying in position movement today. We're going to go back to that squat with that overhead reach. All right, let's reach those hands towards the ground. Pull those hips down. Left hand goes to the sky. Rotate with. Back down. Stand up. Much like the sit back we just did. All right, if you want to go a little bit quicker in that movement, you can. Just make sure you have tension. Yeah, but if your goal today is to get a little bit more mobility, really own those end ranges. So own that overhead reach. Breathe through it. Five seconds, maybe one more rep, unless you're flying through these. And relax. All right. We're going to make our way back down to that plank position. Give them one last little different camera angle on this one, showing that the hands are going to stay wide, but really challenge those transverse abdominals, that rotation through the belly. All right. Tapping that shoulder, hold. Back down. Tap shoulder, hold. Back down. And now through your pace, working that breath. Much like I am right now, you're looking at the floor, slightly out in front of those hands. You're as long as you can get from your heels through the top of your head. 5 seconds. And relax. All right, we're going to pivot those feet back around to that seated position, working that supine hip extension with that overhead reach again. Again, really try to challenge that angle across the body. Our hands are behind the hips. Drive those hips up. I don't care which hand you go with first. Reach it over. All the way back down. Switching sides. This time I want you to take a little bit extra rotation. Try to reach out to that side, just an extra hair. You're not adding feet to that reach. That plant hand, that hand that's on the ground, is gripping the floor. It is not passive. You are not just letting the joint support you. You're digging those fingers into the floor. You're holding on for dear life as you drive the hips up and relax. Last two movements. One movement split in half. We have that sit back to step to arm sweep. Really challenging that strong belly as we work through this. All right, plank position. Sit on back. Left foot comes up. Reach. Reaching back. Strong through that arm. And there should not, much like many of our movements in this class, there is not one breath per rep. Every time you feel that tension point, we are working that exhale. About 10 more seconds on this side. Finish up that rep wherever you are. Don't cheat that last rep. Once you get all the way through it, you can relax. All right. Pivot on around, or I'm going to pivot around. You can just switch out sides. The last movement we're doing, this will wrap things up today. Hit that plank position. Drive those hips back. Right foot outside. Reach. Reaching back. Back overhead. Hand comes down. Excellent. You are as strong as you can be through this. By now, hopefully the quads are starting to feel a little something. That trunk should feel ultra mobile by now. A little Gumby-like, but we feel strong. And once you finish up that rep, finish it all the way through, you are done. Relax. Take some deep breaths. Once you're done, let's go ahead and come on to, if it doesn't bother your ankles, a saddle sit. So you can sit on top of those feet. Okay, if you need to tuck the feet under, you can. However, we're going to sit back a little bit, try to open up those hips. If you can't sit all the way feet flat on the ground, we're just going to relax. Take a couple of deep breaths. Continue to breathe.